Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to work on 2 Paula Deen recipes. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one's going to be chicken divan. I think that's how you say it. And I'm going to take her recipe and I'm going to split it in half. So we're going to do half of everything. Also, I'm going to show you a substitute for curry powder while we're doing this recipe. So let's go ahead and get started on the sauce portion or the liquid portion of the recipe. You're going to need a can of cream of mushroom soup. Let me get a spatula. I'm going to get a can of cream of mushroom. Okay. And I messed my spoon up, so that was just lovely. Alright, so we're going to need a can of cream of mushroom soup. We're going to need a ½ cup of mayo. I'm going to try to eyeball this so I'm not constantly messing with measuring cups here. We're going to need ½ cup of sour cream. And that's just about all of this. Okay. ½ cup of that. Some cheddar cheese. And I'm only going to do ½ cup. Now we will be sprinkling some on top. But as far as I know, we're not supposed to divide this. So ½ cup goes in. All right, now, since we're going to be using some spices and stuff like that, I want to, sorry y'all, I want to use my measuring spoons just to make sure, because some of this is a little bit complicated enough to have to, you know, like I don't want to use too much of one thing. So I don't have curry powder and I was going to leave it out, but I thought, let's see if I can find a substitute first. And we're going to need a ½ teaspoon. So I looked up online and it says you can use cumin and turmeric equal parts to taste about the same. So I don't know if it does. So please don't come after me if it doesn't. I don't know. So I just used ¼ teaspoon of each. ¼ teaspoon of just regular cumin and ¼ teaspoon of turmeric. And it's supposed to mimic curry powder. And we're going to need 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now you can use real lemon juice or fresh, I guess you could say. But I'm just going to use it out of the bottle because I keep that on hand. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. I keep it on hand for different recipes, so I'm just going to use that. And it also calls for some white wine, and I'm going to use chicken broth instead. That is something that you can use. Most people already know that, so I'm going to try to stir this, and then we're probably going to have to get out the whisk to make sure that it combines really well. Yeah. So let me get that. Okay, so I've already steamed my broccoli and I've set it aside, and I've already cooked my chicken. Like I said, I am splitting this recipe. I will put a link down below for the recipe, but I am cutting this recipe in half. It calls for 6 cups of chicken. I only use 3 because I don't need quite that much. Okay. So this is all whisked together. We'll set this here. We're going to move this out of the way, and then we're going to get our baking dish and get started on assembly. The first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Go ahead and get you your baking dish out. Like I said, I'm going to use a 13 by 9. The original recipe calls for an 11 by 7. So those are slightly larger. And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put your broccoli in the bottom of this baking dish after you have sprayed it. I went ahead and sprayed mine. I'm not sure if this has got water in it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. I steamed it. I just did broccoli florets, but you could go ahead and get the chopped broccoli. That way you don't have to do what I'm about to do. Let me see if I got everything. Okay. Now let me get the broccoli off my hands. Alright, so I'm just going to take a knife and I'm going to just kind of cut through this. And yes, it's a little bit, I didn't steam it like till it was falling apart. Just did it just enough. It's going to bake, so I figure, you know, that it will cook a little bit longer. You can also do this chopping on a cutting board or something like that, and then just throw it in here. You don't have to be all crazy like I am today. And I'm not even doing all of them. I'm just kind of chopping up some of the bigger pieces. All right, as soon as we get this ready, we're going to okay. We're going to put the chopped chicken that I've already got chopped on top. Okay, just like that. Now, you're not going to mix all this together. You're just going to do it in layers. So if you've got some leftover chicken or you have some rotisserie chicken, you can do that. I chopped mine because it was just easier, but you can also shred it. So just whichever you prefer. Okay, and this is actually about 1 1/3 of a chicken breast. It was like a large chicken breast and then 1/3 of a smaller one. I just didn't want to put much extra in there. Okay, now we're going to use this spatula that we just had. We're going to pour this over. We'll spread it out. And then the next thing that we have to do is get our breadcrumbs ready. So I'm going to go ahead and get those ready, and then I'll come back in just a second and explain that to you too. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, y'all. So a tablespoon of butter and 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, shredded, and 1/4 cup of plain breadcrumbs. And then we're just going to put this on top. Okay. Alright, make sure y'all can see everything. Alright, so I'm going to just take this. First, we'll clean the spoon off because it's like got some stuck to it. And then I'm just going to sprinkle this on top. 350 degrees for 30 to 45 minutes. And then we need to watch and make sure that it doesn't burn. So I'm probably going to cover it. And you can also top it with cheddar, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Okay, So be sure to keep an eye on it, or if you're like me, you're gonna go ahead and put it in there and cover it, and then the last 10 or 15, I'll take the foil off and let it finish toasting on top. I'll be right back when it's done. Okay, y'all, so this is a finished product. I did leave some foil on it so that it would toast nicely on top instead of burning. So you need to keep that in mind when you make it, but it smells great and it's gonna make a really good supper. And I would like to go ahead and show you the other recipe that we did, the cornbread, and I'll show you that here in a second. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are going to do another Paula Deen recipe. It is called Vidalia onion cornbread. So I went ahead and I cooked and chopped and then cooked in butter my Vidalia onion, and I've got it set aside, just cool it just a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and mix everything else up and then add that at the end. You're gonna need a box of Jiffy mix, corn muffin mix. You probably could use a generic, so that's not a problem at all. Okay, we're gonna need an egg that I've already beaten, and I need to get my 1/3 cup measure because we need a 1/3 cup of milk to add to this. Okay, we're also going to need about a cup of sour cream, and you're going to need a cup of cheese, but you're only going to do half right now. So we're only going to do half a cup for now, and then you're going to need about a cup of sour cream, and I'm going to just try to eyeball it the best I can. I need a cup. It's about a cup there. All right, we need to mix all this together. Let me make sure we got muffin mix in here. We got egg, milk, sour cream, half a cup of cheese. You're gonna need about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of dill weed. Okay, oops. And that's basically it. We just gotta add our onion. And you need to have an 8 by 8 prepared pan ready. That'll be like a smaller square one, or a smaller pie pan, either one. And you need to have your oven preheated to about 450. This is only going to take, let's see, about half an hour to cook. Let me add the onion. Tried to cool it off the best I could so it don't cook our egg, but hopefully it'll be fine. And we cooked it in a half a stick of butter. I don't know if I have already said that or not. Okay. Okay. Pan. Let me get a spatula because we're going to need it. Alright. Hopefully y'all can see that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and this may take a little bit longer to cook because it is extremely wet. All right, let me go ahead and grab my cheese. We need another half a cup on top, and then we can put it in the oven. 450, 30 minutes to 45, just depending on how long it takes to get done. You need to stick a toothpick or something in it and test it about the 30-minute mark to see. And that's it, y'all. Real quick, recipe, and I know it's going to be good. So I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, so this is the cornbread. It turned out fine, and we're going to serve it with the other dish that I just showed you, the other recipe. You will have to keep full on it as well so that it doesn't overcook or cook too fast for you. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.